Back in 2007, on Lewis Hamilton's debut F1 season with McLaren, he was paired with none other than Fernando Alonso. 16 seasons later, both drivers are in the limelight for very different reasons. Alonso is enjoying an incredible start to the season with Aston Martin, whilst Hamilton is struggling in the Mercedes. Over the course of their careers, however, fans have seen these champions entangled, infuriated and enraged. But is their feud legitimate, or are these frenemies more friends than we thought? Stick around to find out. Two ultra-alpha personalities on the same team hardly ever make for a productive recipe. This is what Ron Dennis experienced when he had Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton at McLaren. Let's take a super quick look at the duo's feud history.
You can see Raikkonen on the right, Alonso on the left, with his teammate Hamilton behind him, and behind Raikkonen on the right.
Hamilton entered F1 as a rookie and was paired with Alonso at McLaren. Alonso, who had joined from Renault after winning consecutive titles and establishing himself as a leading driver on the grid, was also in his first year with the team. As a double world champion with Renault, Alonso joined McLaren and expected to be the #1 driver. However, his assumption was wrong, as his rookie teammate Hamilton proved to be just as fast as him.
He's side by side, look at that at 190 miles an hour, incredible.
In the early stages of the 2007 season, Hamilton emerged victorious over his teammate Alonso in 5 out of 6 races. However, tensions between the two were clearly evident during qualifying at Hungary. During qualifying 1, Lewis Hamilton was asked to let his teammate Fernando Alonso pass him to give Alonso a chance for a fast lap without being impeded. However, Hamilton did not comply and set the fastest time. In Q2, Alonso made sure he had the clean air he needed by pitting for fresh tyres with about 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining and waiting over 30 seconds before leaving the pit box, causing Hamilton to be stuck behind him. This made Hamilton miss out on a final run by around 5 seconds. Alonso went on to claim pole position, but the stewards in Q3 demoted him to 2nd place and Hamilton took the pole. So, despite the daunting challenge of pairing up with a seasoned driver, Hamilton rose to the occasion and ended the season tied on points with Alonso. This was not an easy reality for Alonso, and he demanded special treatment from the McLaren boss Ron Dennis. However, when Ron refused, tensions rose between the drivers, both on and off the track, eventually escalated, leading to Alonso's departure after just 1 year. Now that you're caught up, this is what Alonso had to say in retrospect. The situation that season was not well managed by our bosses. We were young, we were immature, we were many of the things we are not now, and we needed help from the management that we didn't get. The problems were more within the team, to be honest, said Mark Slade, Alonso's engineer in that season. The team atmosphere was pretty poor. I think a few things happened that exaggerated the problems that were there. Alonso accused McLaren of favouring Hamilton because he was a British driver on a British team, which Ron Dennis refuted. But after hearing this, Hamilton was surprised, saying, "I find it strange he said that, because I feel ever since he joined the team have been extremely motivated to push us both to winning." Instead, the Brit believes that Alonso underestimated his ability and did not expect him to perform as well as he did right from the beginning. "I doubt he was expecting me to do as well." Dennis claimed at the time that they were focused on trying to be the best team and that they didn't care who comes first and who comes second. But later, after much fist-in-face time and threats regarding the Spygate scandal from Alonso, Dennis eventually admitted that he and Alonso were not on speaking terms. He went on to say that the relationship between Fernando and I is extremely cold. Whether Alonso and Dennis would have had such a relationship without Lewis's presence, we'll never know. Suffice to say that the stage was set for tension between the two drivers. But what does their relationship look like now? Cut to last season, and we continue to see tension on track and often off.
Chicane, and they make contact! Hamilton rises up into the air, he's made contact!
In 2022, Fernando called Lewis an idiot for colliding with him at the Belgian GP. An unimpressed Alonso reported over team radio, "What an idiot, closing the doors from the outside," Alonso vented. "I mean, we had a mega start, but this guy only knows how to drive and start in first." Alonso did apologize for this afterwards, but the world already had heard it. Hamilton took full responsibility for the incident. He later shared his Instagram story featuring Alonso calling for respect for the F1 family. He then followed up this message of love and appreciation by adding a photo of a signed cap with "To Fernando" on it. A snarky move, if ever we saw one. Fernando also caused controversy in Mexico last season by making a bold statement about Lewis Hamilton's 7 F1 world titles. After Max Verstappen won his second championship in Austin, Alonso claimed that Verstappen could become the greatest driver of all time, a title generally reserved for his former teammate.
And for the second year running, it is victory here in Mexico City for Max Verstappen.
In Mexico, Alonso reiterated his admiration for Verstappen's success and admitted that he is a fan of the Dutch champion. I have a lot of respect for Lewis, but still it is different when you win 7 world titles when you only had to fight with your teammate, said Alonso. Alonso believes that the current Mercedes car, the W14, is not as competitive as its predecessors, and as a result, Hamilton's weaknesses are being exposed. With a normal car, you can see that he has weaknesses, he added. But the question we're asking here is their feud legitimate? Or is it something spurred on by media tabloids and those ridiculous YouTube videos only interested in clickbaiting? Even Alonso admitted the media's influence on the relationship. Yeah, my comments were, made into huge thing. So first of all, it's Lewis, a legend, a champion of our time, and when you say something, and I'm sorry to repeat this again, about a British driver, there's a huge media involvement after that. From 2007, the media has continued to hype up the rivalry between Hamilton and Alonso. However, Alonso and Hamilton allegedly always got along well as teammates and as people. Following the notorious Hungarian GP, Hamilton tried to make it very clear that the teammates were amicable and cordial. We are both ambitious drivers who want to win. However, we are not drivers at war, as has been widely reported. Although we did not speak on Sunday, we have spoken since the weekend and continue to have a professional working relationship. In fact, Fernando and I plan to meet up over the holiday period. Alonso shared a similar sentiment at the time, saying, "We had a difficult season, but we respected what the other was doing on track and still do. We each consider the other to be a talented driver and one of the toughest competitors we have ever met." He further stated that he would willingly set aside any previous conflicts if a similar circumstance were to occur. Their relationship may be cutting from the outside, but in reality seems to be a healthy bit of bantering between buddies. Alonso took to Twitter to share his feelings after last year's Belgian GP. Hamilton responded to Alonso's comments by posting a photo of the podium at the 2007 United States Grand Prix, where he emerged as the winner, with Alonso finishing second. He added a caption containing only the thumbs up emoji, effectively ending the drama between them. The picture he chose was rather amusing. Following last year's drama after the Belgium Grand Prix, the two had fun joking over Hamilton's cap, with Alonso interrupting an interview with Lewis, asking where his cap was. All seems to be in good humour. And recently, at this season's Australian GP, the two vied for second place. Neither were a threat for Verstappen's pole position. Despite his efforts, Alonso was unable to overtake Hamilton and had to settle for third place behind the British driver and race winner. Post-race, Alonso said that he tried to put some pressure, but, he had an incredible race, no mistakes at all, as you probably expect from him, a champion. Despite Hamilton's comment mid-race that there was no way I'm losing to him, he was equally as generous with his praise for his ex-teammate, saying, "It was definitely not easy to keep him behind me. Fernando doesn't make mistakes, and so it had to be a perfect run." Either the two have grown up significantly, or we're just seeing more of their sentiment for each other. In a somewhat surprising statement recently, Alonso has expressed a desire to reunite with Hamilton before he retires from F1. "It would be nice to end our careers together. I'd love that." Let's be honest, it has been fun seeing these two squabbling. It makes for good TV, but at the end of the day, we maintain that we have always had nothing but respect for each other. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments.